everyone and welcome to KYE Talks. My name is Sonal Ambekar. I'm your host for this interview. Know Your Entrepreneur is a digital platform where we talk to several entrepreneurs who tell us why they chose not to be stuck to the regular 9 to 5, but they went ahead and did something different. Our guest today is Mr. Omkar Patil. Hello, Omkar.
Hi, Sonal.
So a little bit about Omkar. He is the founder and CEO of Infigon India. Infigon India is an end-to-end student guidance and mentorship platform that leverages cutting-edge technology like artificial intelligence and deep learning for providing professional guidance to around 35 crore students of India and at an affordable price through their mobile application. They do this through a simple 5-step process, which is step 1 is self-analysis. Then there's career selection, there's education planning, there's skill development, and then there's expert mentorship. Let's get to know more from Omkar. Hi, Omkar. Welcome to KYE Talks.
Thank you so much, Sonal. Thank you so much for having me here.
So, Omkar, why don't you tell us a little bit about Infigon India and what exactly it is that it does?
All right, that'll be it. So basically, firstly, thank you so much, Sonal, once again for having me here at KYE Talks, and it's going to be a fantastic experience of interacting and talking with your viewers. So what we do at Infigon India is that, and before we get to what exactly we do at Infigon India, we'll start with the situation of career counseling in our country. All right. So the number of students in our country crosses nearly 35 crore. That is more than the entire population of the United States of America. Right. 5 years back, 10 years back, 15 years back, it was very okay for the students of our country to take decisions related to their career, to their education, by consulting to their private tuition teachers, to their parents, to their cousins, etc. Because the options available in the market at that point of time were very limited. But in today's world, the dynamics of the working world are changing so fast. The number of options available in the career as well as the education avenues are so much that our tuition teachers, our class teachers, our friends, our relatives are not able to guide us anymore, right? And that's the reason students of our country especially need some kind of mentorship, some kind of guidance while taking decisions related to their career and to their education. Right. Now, the problem in India is that the number of career counselors who are available are very, very, very limited. I mean, right from 15th August 1947 so far, we've been able to develop a workforce of nearly 1.5 lakh career counselors, right? And if you want to reach to the requirements of these 35 crore students, we need nearly 20 lakh more career counselors.
There's a huge gap.
Yeah, the gap that is there in the market is tremendously huge. And in all of these years, when we have been able to develop a workforce of 1.5 lakh, it is physically not possible to develop a workforce of nearly 20 lakh more career counselors in the coming 5 to 6 years. Right. But at the same time, the government of India, organizations like UNICEF have constantly been putting pressure on the fact that Indian students do need guidance. If they do not get the kind of guidance and mentorship that they require, then by 2030, 75% of the Indian graduates won't have the basic skills required for employment. And that's what Infigon Futures is trying to do. The problem with the counselors in India is dependent on 3 areas. The first is the problem of availability. Very less career counselors available, as I told earlier. Right. Second is the problem of affordability. Right? The counselors who are available are charging so much that
very high.
The minimum price for good quality counseling in our country ranges from 18,000 to 24,000. Right? 86% of the people in our country cannot afford that counseling, and this is what the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India says. So we decided to come up with a mobile application which would provide this entire service of career counseling and mentorship through our mobile application, so that it can be made available to everyone and affordable to everyone. So that's what we do.
So convenient. I mean, through the mobile app, it will be so convenient for everyone to, get that kind of guidance. Because like you said, I wasn't aware of the gap that was there, the numbers that you said that there's 20 lakh more counselors that we require to reach out to these 35 crore, students. I didn't know about I did know that there was a gap, but it's shocking to hear that there is such a huge gap, and it's good to know that you're trying to fill it up by whatever means that you can. So Omkar, what would you say?
We're trying a bit.
Yeah. So what would you say was your motivation to get into entrepreneurship? I understand that you wanted to do it because you wanted to give back to the country, right? You wanted to try your part in fulfilling that void, however much you could. But is there anything else that served as a motivation for you to start something on your own?
Right. All right. So if I have to talk about why exactly did we think about starting this and all, starting this organization and getting full time to this kind of startup was, I mean, back when I'm an engineer by qualification, and back when I was in the third year of my engineering. So as engineers, we had realized this one problem about that persists with all engineers throughout the country is that we interact only with fellow engineers, right? An engineer goes for competitions, an engineer participates with engineers, an engineer socializes with engineers, an engineer goes out with engineers basically. So the problem with engineers is that, in fact, that's not just the problem with engineers. That's the problem with our basic education system in our country, that every person from one particular education background interacts only with people from that education background.
It's very restrictive.
Yeah. So if somebody is a commerce student, he's interacting only with commerce students, art student only interacting only with art students. But the thing is that when we enter into the working world, it is a basic necessity that we are able to cope up with people from diverse backgrounds, right? There's a technical department, there's a marketing department, there's a business development department, there's a designing department. All of these departments and all of these people need to work with each other in proper sync. So we came up with an idea that in the educational period itself, why not set up an organization which will allow students from diverse education backgrounds to come together, to participate, to socialize, to interact, to compete, to organize different kinds of things together. And that's how we would promote that kind of an experience with these students. All right. Now we named this thing as the Maharashtra Summit. And this thing turned out to be really well. Like we organized multiple events like the National Business Championship, Model United Nations conferences, multiple social events like the Blogathon, Tweetathon, etc. Multiple cultural events. And through this kind of an organization, we reached out to nearly 8,000 plus students. We associated with more than 100 colleges, more than 30 schools, more than 5 NGOs, right? And in this period, we interacted with so many students. We understood their problems, we understood their issues, we understood how to manage an organization, how to manage conflicts, how to deal with business development, how to do marketing, and so on and so forth. And the best part was that at the end of each event that we used to organize, a lot of students used to interact with us. A lot of students used to talk about how they, could gain from the events that we organized. And that's when it clicked us that in this education industry, it's not just about, because at some point of time, everyone has to do something or the other. They either have to work as an employee or they start something on themselves.
Right.
So we thought that if it is, actually working out, we can do something over here. And at the same time, we are getting so much of satisfaction by what we are doing for the students and by the reviews that we get from students. Why not start something of ourselves into this industry? Why not get into the education industry? And why not continue this small organization of ours into something big? So that's when we thought, that we'll get into this education industry, and slowly and gradually we analyzed the market, understood the problems, and then we came up with the idea.
That's amazing. So from being an engineer to studying the market to make sure that you make your product sell. That's amazing. That's one journey in itself. And getting, like you said, that now as a businessman, what matters to you must be client feedbacks. But before you started it was what it was what you gained from the interaction you had with students and how you understood their problems and the recurring problems, the existing problems, and how you can come. That's amazing, Omkar. So you said that helping these students gives you a sense of satisfaction. That is what I wanted to ask you next. What would be the factors that, comprise into giving you a sense of accomplishment that gives you a kick every morning? That gets you going every morning. Yes, today it's a new day, brand new day, and we're going to kick ass.
Right. So there's this one thing that is always there when you're working with a startup or when you're working on your own startup, etc. Right? That there's a lot of negatives. Okay, and there are people who try to push you down. There are situations which don't work out in the way in which you want them to work out. There's your initial team of people who are working with you. Because things are not working out, they leave the team, or there is some association that you do with company, organization that doesn't happen. So the point which I want to make over here is that as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of negatives that are there, right? And the positives which are there do not weigh as much as the negatives. Right. So to answer your question as to what exactly makes you feel accomplished, right? I think that we need to find accomplishment in every small thing that is there. All right. And that is the only thing that you can do. And that is the one necessary condition for you to be able to survive as an entrepreneur. Right. What you can do is that, for example, you have a social media page of yours, you've got an Instagram page, and you get 50 likes. Then you just, text all the members of your team, today we got 50 likes, that is a new high. You got 200 likes tomorrow, that's a new high. You celebrate it with all of that. Or for example, you get some number of followers. Or we have a mobile application of ours, and we crossed 1,000 downloads. So that is a new kind of achievement. So every time, what accomplishes me as an individual at this point of time, because we are very much in the nascent stages. We've just started 8 months back, and there's a big road ahead. So at this point of time, this is what I believe accomplishes me. This is what I try to make myself feel accomplished. At the same time, this is what I would suggest to others also. You find those small things, which can keep you afloat. In the broader sense, what we try to do is that we interact with a lot of students, we provide them our services, and then we keep review meetings with them as to how do you think our services work, and in what way did our services help you in your career and education building. And those positive replies kind of make me feel tremendously accomplished and make me feel that I should keep on doing.
Of course, it tells you that whatever you've done, it was good that you did, and then wherever there's scope of improvement, you get to know both things that an entrepreneur definitely must get to know, that what they're doing is working out, and what are the areas where they can improve in. So you said that entrepreneurship is filled with a lot of negatives. There are pros, but there are more cons. So I'd like to ask you, on your journey, on this entrepreneurial journey of yours, what were some difficulties or obstacles you may have faced, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. So to answer that question of yours, the first thing is that every time someone takes a decision to be an entrepreneur or start something of himself, right? There's a lot of fear in the mind, right? Because then a lot of your colleagues, people who study with you, people who work with you, etc., do have a steady source of revenue, steady source of income, and a safe kind of a future, right? So the first barrier, which not just me, but I think that my people whom I know have started their own companies at the same time, I'm sure that majority of the entrepreneurs out there face, is taking that decision, taking that step of being an entrepreneur. That's the first barrier that you need to cross yourself, because there's no certainty. There are reports which say that 90% plus startups don't work out. But in spite of that, you have got to put your money into the place, you got to put your time into the place, you got to risk all of these things. Not just yours, but you got to risk the lives of the people working with you. So that is the first thing which I think is one of the major barriers out there, and which we need to overcome kind of. The second important thing, which I think is not just a barrier, it's kind of a learning experience for every entrepreneur, is team building, right? Because when you start something off, when you start anything, you decide to sell tea on some road corner or something of that sort. You cannot do all of those things on yourself, right? You need a team which stands by you at all times. For example, something happens to you or you're not able to put your time as much, or there's a lot of work. You need people who will be there. You need people who will take the responsibility and work as efficiently as you will. So that's the second barrier that you need to overcome, and that barrier is of team building. All right. The third thing is, we started in August 2020. At that point of time, it was already the COVID-19 period. The pandemic had already struck, a lot of people. So the entire working model of our organization is kind of online. So every member that we work with, every intern of ours, every core team member is working from home. So I have been an individual who has always done on-field events, right? Organizing competitions, organizing events, etc. So I've always been on-field. I've always interacted with people live, right? So working online has been very difficult, and that's not just with me, but majority of the startups who started in the year 2020. So that, the completely online working model was one thing. And then the I think that is something that we did not just face before starting, but after starting also, that is something that we faced. A resistance from people in the market, right? Because counselors themselves, at the same time, my own teachers, my own guides, my own mentors, thought that this field of career counseling and marketing, right, is something that is very local. It cannot be scaled up to a national level. Neither can a mobile application completely provide that quality counseling service, because counseling is supposed to be given by someone who's an expert, someone who's had that experience of being in the market, right? So providing that through a mobile application is not something that is possible. So that resistance and overcoming that resistance is something that we didn't just face, and I'm not saying we did overcome that, but I think that is something that we keep on facing till the time we do not prove it in the market that a big
Right.
chunk of students are using our platform and they're actually gaining something.
Right. So, very nicely you said that these four things are there that an entrepreneur may face problems like, and they're very common. And the thing that you said, that taking the first step often takes a lot of courage, and that is why that is one of the biggest difficulties that is faced by almost every entrepreneur that is there, who's starting out,
Yeah.
who's who's not a second generation entrepreneur, but who's taking that first step for himself, and that is one thing that everyone faces. Very nicely said. So, Omkar, where do you see Infigon and yourself in 5 years?
Right. So, I mean, just to answer your last, I mean, just in addition to the last question of yours and to the conclusion that you gave, that is the first step that entrepreneurs have to take, and that is very difficult. But I think that Indian entrepreneurs have started taking that step. A lot of people have started doing it because there are so many success stories from our entrepreneurs themselves. I mean, there are so many big people, and that's like real inspiration for people like me to start, because we think that, yeah, all right, we can also do something if people from India are doing that, right? Now, coming to the question of where exactly do we see Infigon Futures, is that we came into the market because we kind of wanted to bring a behavior change in the minds of students and in the education system related to career counseling and education mentorship, right? We want to bring a change towards the fact that today, according to MHRD, Government of India, 33.5 crore students out of the 35 crore student bond of our country do not receive any kind of mentorship or guidance while taking decisions related to their career and to their education. That number I know is really big, right? But then,
and it's disappointing.
I know that is big and disappointing at the same time. That's very true, right? So our vision is to bring a change in the behavior of our target audience in such a manner that after 5 years, the situation should be such that anyone who wants to take a decision related to his career and to his education, it should be a new normal that, all right, if I have to take admission into some college, of course I have to get a mentor, of course I have to get a counselor. If I have to take some decision about which career I want to choose for myself, of course I have to get a counselor. That's just basic, right? Like today, when you have to go to some restaurant, you just make sure that of course I have to check Zomato before I go to that restaurant, right? And that's the kind of change. Yeah, I mean, 5 years, 6 years down the line, we never checked it. We just went to that place and we asked either the waiter or we asked.
Mostly it was word of mouth. People would tell us, oh, this is good, we should go and check it out.
I know, right? So, we want to bring that kind of a change wherein in 5 years, we would be to that place where any student who wants to take any decision, naturally, subconsciously opens up his phone, uses our application and just checks it up once before taking that decision. So that's the place that we look forward to be at. I mean, we've not planned as where we want to be in terms of the revenue, in terms of the valuation, etc. But this is something that we've planned, that this is what we want to do 5 years down the line.
This would be your aim that you would like to achieve 5 years down the line. That's commendable, I must say, to the least, because that's giving back to our country so much, and I feel the future generations are going to be the future of this country, and it's very important that they get the right kind of guidance to make that
absolutely
happen. So, Omkar, what would you say are the changes that you have seen in yourself as you embarked on this journey? Like, what were you like before, and what changes do you see in yourself now that you're an entrepreneur? You have a team under you. You have to make sure everything goes right. There must be so many things that you must have learned, and then so many things and you must have changed. So can you name a few changes?
Yes. So the first thing which I think has come into me from, I don't even know how it has been there, and I don't know how I took up that thing. But the first thing that I would like to point out is adaptability. I mean, because as I told you earlier, working completely online after this pandemic was one big thing that we had to go through. But now, I mean, I organized one event back in January 2020, just 3 months before the pandemic, which was called as the National Business Champion. And I remember there was a team from IIM Indore who was participating in the last round. And I was trying so hard to connect them online, on Skype at that point of time. I just couldn't. It took me nearly 25 minutes to connect them online. But three months down the line, I started this organization, and now, right from the start, I mean, everything is happening online. Like all of our meetings, our connection, all of them are happening online. So, and at the same time, I couldn't, I couldn't talk with someone on the phone. I couldn't convey my points on the phone. I had to meet that person if there's some work had to get done. But now that is happening. So along with all of these things, there are numerous things which I could never do. But now I'm being able to do, and now I'm being able to learn them very fast because that is required. So entrepreneurship, I think, not just in me, but in every student, every person, it imbibes a feeling, it imbibes a sense of adaptability. That's the first thing. Second, it gives you a feeling of responsibility. At the same time, it makes you tremendously responsible because you know that every pound, every money that is going into picture, everything that is happening in the organization is your responsibility.
Yeah.
Either it be the money, either it be the growth, either it be the people, either it be the targets. All of these things need to be done by you, right? So it imbibes a sense of responsibility in you. So I think, yeah, adaptability and responsibility are two important things. And apart from that, there's a lot of smaller things, but from the broader sense, I think these are the two most important skills that any individual should have.
Very nicely said. But I must say that often people say that they've become more calm or patient, but this is something new that we've got to hear. That adaptability, which encompasses such a huge part of being an entrepreneur, because you have to be ready to adapt to whatever may come your way. No one knew that the pandemic was gonna hit us and things would have to, go online, completely digital. But it's very important that you have that quality of being adaptable. So whatever may happen, that you're going to thrive through it. It's very important.
I hope.
Of course you will. Of course you've come this long, this far, and there's a long way to go. And of course you will, because that's the entrepreneur, spirit, that we just don't know how to give up.
Correct.
So, Omkar, what would be your message to our audience? Like you said in the beginning of the interview, that taking the first step is always the most difficult one. And I would like to ask you that there must be so many budding entrepreneurs out there like yourself who may have some idea of giving back to the country or in any other way, a good, a product line or maybe some services, but they're just too scared to take that first step. How would you encourage them?
So basically, at this point of time, we are just 8 months old, right? So there is nothing huge that we have done or achieved so far. So I can't give any message as such as to that will inspire people. But I know there is one thing which I followed, which I'll let everyone know, of course, is that I read this book of Steve Jobs, his biography kind of thing. And in that book, it is written that, a lot of people don't do big things because they think that big things are done by tremendously capable individuals, tremendously smart individuals, and, strong individuals. Big things are done by them. I mean, the point being that a lot of people don't do big things because they think that they're not capable of doing big things. Right. But then when you understand people who have done big things, when you read about them, when you know them, right, you realize that they were not really different. All right, they were not very much out of the box. They were just normal people, and they thought that they could do it, and they started doing it. Right. And when they started from the path, things started working out one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. They stick to it. And that is how they could do it. Right. So I believe that everyone should, think about this thing, that everyone has the capacity to do something big. Right. And the only difficult step is 0 to 1. The only difficult step is starting. But once you start, everything starts turning out really well. I mean, you can just only assign luck to those things, but it's not actually luck. It's because you started it, you had that vision, and you put together. That's why everything started working out. So I think at this stage, this is the only thing which I can tell everyone, that just started. All right, and it's fantastic. The experience is different, which is once in a lifetime. So just it, and I think things should start working.
How beautiful! Like you're telling them the experience is good. It's worth it. Like take that first step. Thoda sa difficult, but it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, you don't have to be extraordinary to do extraordinary things. You just have to do things in a different way. Try to take that step. If it's difficult, have some courage, but do it. And then you're just, one too many steps closer to your aim.
In fact, you don't even have to do it differently. When we started back in August, there were 6 companies in the same field who started with us. Right. Now, there might be something or the other that went wrong, but then it's just 8 months and all of them have shut down. Majority of them have, as far as I know. All right. So the thing is that is just started and be there. All right. Don't do something out of the box. Don't think that you have to do something out of the box. Yeah, just keep on doing it. Whatever you started, just believe it, because there are 150 crore people in the country. Even if 0.001% of those buy whatever you're ready to sell, you're going to be making it big. right?
Yeah,
You just
right.
make something and be there. I think it will turn out well. Yeah,
Very nicely said,
correct.
Omkar. With that, we come to the end of this segment. Thank you so much for coming on KYE Talks and sharing your journey and your insightful thoughts. Uh, is there anything
Mhm.
you'd like to say?
Nothing else. It was an absolutely fantastic experience. And when you talk about yourself, when you talk about your organization, you understand more about yourself, right?
Yes.
So again, it was an awakening experience for me as such. And I look forward to more such interactions. And I hope that we do well. We meet after 3 years also.
Yes, of course.